Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It is 8:06 on a Wednesday morning, and we are tracking Tropical Storm Helene from the First Warning Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week chatting about the weather, but of course, I'm a couple of minutes late because we're doing our team coverage on the air. Helene is getting better organized. Let's at the data. Maximum sustained winds have increased, and as of the 8 o'clock intermediate advisory, winds are up to 70 miles an hour. Of course, we know a Category 1 hurricane shows winds of 74 miles an hour. So we're right on the cusp of this becoming a hurricane. It's moving to the northwest at 9 miles an hour, and the pressure has fallen to 979 millibars. That was just moments before the Hurricane Center put out that intermediate advisory. And we're watching this trend of lowering pressure. Let me just show you the live data from the Hurricane Hunter recon missions. We've got two in there right now. We've got a NOAA aircraft, a P-3, and we've got the P-3 Orion and the C-130 Hercules. So two aircraft going in. It looks like the P-3 will be doing a core punch here again in just a moment. We'll see if they get another lowered pressure, and of course we'll pass that along. But the storm system is getting better organized. I've got the cone and everything on the bottom left corner, but let's just share with you the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Expected to become a hurricane later on today, then intensify to a Category 2 hurricane by tonight slash overnight tonight, and then by tomorrow, as it approaches the Big Bend of Florida, should become a major hurricane with winds of 120 miles an hour before making landfall. I don't know, and see, this is where I know Matt, Chief Nerd, could dial in, and I'm sure figure this out. When was the last time that the entire peninsula was under tropical storm or hurricane warnings? Everybody in the peninsula of Florida. I couldn't tell you when the last time that was. And so, because of that, it should illustrate just how large geographically this storm system is, okay? Very, very large. For us in Central Florida, the good news is the worst of the weather will not be here. Okay. The worst of the weather is going to be in the areas highlighted there in red. And I'll just take you in even closer. This is a look at the tropical advisories. Okay. Western Marion County highlighted in red under hurricane warnings. That means that a hurricane force wind gust is likely. Hurricane conditions are expected, basically. For the rest of Central Florida, the blue shades mean that we're under tropical storm warnings or tropical storm conditions are expected. And that, by the way, goes all the way down. You just look all the way down the peninsula. We've got tropical storm warnings all the way down to the Keys, tropical storm warnings all the way up through to Jacksonville. And then when you get up to coastal Georgia, coastal South Carolina, tropical storm watches, of course, we're still running on that 48-hour, 36-hour window. Now, kind of an interesting thought, okay? A lot of people ask, always ask, has the cone shifted? Has the track shifted? Where are we at? So we made this graphic this morning to try and illustrate that. This is the last 5 forecasts from the Hurricane Center. All I did was I tracked the line down the center of the cone. Okay. And this is just for specificity. Don't take it as this is the only area that's going to get an impact. But this is the line where the center of the cone is drawn. The red is the current 5 a.m. forecast from the National Hurricane Center. The orange is the 11 p.m. last night. The yellow would be the 5 p.m. yesterday. Green would be the 11 a.m. yesterday. And blue would be the 5 a.m. yesterday. Okay, so you're basically looking at a 24-hour type window. From orange to red, the last two cones, there's been a 20-mile west shift. Not much. But I think in other storms, this graphic will probably really do some good to show trends and things like that. But in this case, thankfully, everything is fairly consistent. And as a matter of fact, going even deeper in the data, the forecast has only shifted plus or minus 40 miles over the last 24 hours time. Let me just look. This is 8:11. So after your interview, Kellyanne, you're gonna go.
Somehow we're all into this.
I don't know if. Sorry. bear with us. We're on TV, so you're going to also, in addition to us just doing our coffee talk chat, we're going to have some like production chats. Who's producing this? Kale, Kale, you there? Okay, so we'll chat in the commercial break. All right. So anyway, you see a fairly tight consistency, and I think that that's a very good sign from the National Hurricane Center. When we look at the models with the cone, you also see that it's not only the National Hurricane Center that has been very consistent. Look at how the models just split right down the center of that forecast cone. And if anything, they may need to shift their cone a little more to the west at 11 o'clock. Love the consistency, but I would just urge caution in understanding that the entire peninsula is under tropical storm warnings or hurricane warnings. And all that means is that the entire peninsula is at threat of either tropical storm conditions or hurricane conditions. Okay, so what does that mean for Central Florida? Let's talk about some of those impacts. Okay, first off, let's discuss the wind impacts. Okay, purple and red you see on the left side, the purple colors, that's major hurricane condition. The red colors, hurricane winds. So notice none of those are in our area. We are not expecting hurricane conditions. We could see hurricane gusts, but we're not expecting straight up hurricane conditions. In orange, there, western Marion County, that's strong tropical storm force winds that could gust to hurricane force, of course. And then the rest of Central Florida, highlighted in yellow there, tropical storm force winds. So I think for us, you know, this is not rain with a name. This is a little more than that. We're going to have some forceful wind gusts here. Okay, pause for 1 second. So have you gotten any guidance on that?
No, nothing.
Hey, Kale, Kale. Hey, so let's just go over this real fast. So Kellyanne's doing her interview, and then after her interview, is she just taking it, or you've got a four shot, but it just that? Okay, got it. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're floating it. All right. Live TV. So the Hurricane Center never dialed in. So there's your live TV. Your fun with live TV. Okay. All right. So just doing stories and then just to normal weather at the four shot. Okay. All right. So anyway, apologies. This is what happens behind the scenes when we're just kind of doing our thing. So anyway, we were talking about the local impacts. So that's the wind threat. Let's talk about the tornado threat for Central Florida. Certainly. Oh, now that's interesting. So that's upgraded. Interesting. Okay. So earlier we were looking at just a few, and now we're looking at several. So I think that
Is that today?
yeah, they just update for the storms. No, that's more of a tomorrow type thing, but that's an upgraded threat for tornadoes. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put us under an enhanced risk tomorrow if they upgraded this.
Nothing yet.
Nothing from they will at like 8:45. They'll put out their update. Anyway, this is a product that the National Hurricane Center works in conjunction. Oh, you think? Well, SPC puts out their update just before
For
9.
day 2?
Oh, maybe it is just day 1. No,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
Probably at 11.
Okay, so it'd be like 11. Maybe we'll get an upgrade on that. That'll give us something to talk about. But this was all yellow a bit ago. Now it's up to orange. So several tornadoes possible tomorrow. And that makes sense. As it accelerates its forward motion into the Big Bend, it's going to put us into that threat. But look at like where Jeremy's area is up in coastal Georgia. Look at that. They're into like the concern of many tornadoes there. They're highlighted in red.
Oh, that's good.
That's new also. So they've updated that. Flooding threats across Central Florida, highest out west for sure. Okay. All right. Anyway, let me see. Storm preps. Okay. All right. So Kellyanne and I are gonna have a hit. So let's walk together. Oh, apparently my computer's gonna die. So that's fun.
Yes.
What's that? Okay. So we're doing the interview next. Okay. Okay. All right, so apparently I didn't charge my computer yesterday, so the battery's almost dead, so I'm not going to be able to take